Welcome back to Danny Rants. Today I have a special guest. Some may know him as Enschway, the DJ. Others may know him as Choccy Dan, 1/3 of Misfit Minds. He's a pranker, he's a producer, and he reckons he's a What's Up DJ, but I would disagree. How are you, Nick?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Good, man. So it's interesting because obviously I asked you to come down and you don't really know what we're going to talk about. But one of the big things for me is it's odd. Like when I talk, even in your phone, like every time I go to like find you in my phone, I write Enschway. and then I have to remember that your name's Nick and write Nick.
I'll keep the name around, I reckon.
But when I talk to people, like I'll be on live or whatever, because obviously we did that Misfit Minds thing recently.
Yeah.
And then I say your name is Enschway, people don't know that you used to be.
Dan.
Yeah, they think your name's Choccy Dan. So I guess starting from the get-go, I want to go into that, and then I guess how the fuck you became one of Australia's biggest pranksters from being, I would say, a very, very high-level DJ in Australia at one point.
Thank you.
Yeah, you always sort of put yourself down in that situation, but I think you were one of the top up-and-coming guys, at least, only like 4 years ago, probably.
Yeah, before COVID.
Yeah, before COVID.
Yeah. It was fun while it lasted.
Winding back to the music stuff, when did you start it? Why did you start it? And kind of give us a little bit of a brief for people that don't know that you were actually Enschway prior to being Choccy Dan.
You know, it's funny. People if people come up to us on the street, I'll introduce myself and say, "Hey, I'm Nick," and they're like, "Well, I thought your name was Dan." I was like, "No, it's Nick. That's just a character." And they're like, "Oh, what the fuck?"
Mind blown.
They spin out. But I started, I think it was like 15, 16. I was like just watching Tomorrowland recap videos. And like Tomorrowland would put out those like, I don't know, you probably remember the trailers of like the year before or something like that. I was like, man, that is sick. I want to DJ. So then I bought some like the shitty little, like the shittest Pioneer ones you could get. And I was like, all right, DJ a bit, watch some YouTube videos. I was like, oh, I might start DJing house parties at 15, 16. So then I, bought some speakers, did all that. And then I was just doing house parties around the Shire where I lived.
Because you're originally from Sydney, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just doing house parties and stuff. And I was like doing that for a while. And then I was kind of like, I want to actually learn how to make the music that I'm playing. I just don't want to play it. So then I just watched some more YouTube videos, started making music all through high school, through uni, and then dropped out of uni, just pursued music full time, and kind of like, I guess it just went from there. Just you start off with smaller shows, it gets bigger and bigger, you do more songs, and then, yeah, you get to a point where you can live off it, which I'm blessed for, but it was very good. It's very fun.
Was your progression relatively quick? Because like, I don't know, because I obviously wasn't from Sydney, but I know, and we'll talk about this in a second, but I sort of, you were already at a decent sized stage by the time that I knew who you were. So like, did you kind of come out, and it felt like, from someone from Melbourne, obviously I'm not from Sydney, but it felt as though you just kind of came out of nowhere.
I didn't feel like I came out of nowhere because it was like all of the years of just producing and stuff and slowly putting out shit songs, and then I guess they got a little bit better. But to me, it didn't feel like it was fast, but I guess like my career probably from like doing it full time was probably like 3 or 4 years.
Yep.
Until COVID, and then I kind of like COVID happened, all the shows stopped, and I kind of got a time to take a breather, and I was like, I don't really enjoy producing anymore.
Yep.
And I didn't want to just produce for the sake of producing, just to do it. So I was kind of just put the brakes on it for a bit, had a breather, and then kind of the Misfit Minds thing
Popped
kind of
off.
pivoted into that, and that I kind of joined them, but just by chance.
So when you were sort of starting and you were like, you were young and you were producing and whatnot, was there a moment where, because like for people that don't know, you were being managed by the same manager as Golden Features.
Yeah, Sasha.
Yeah, Sasha. And he dealt with massive artists. Like you were playing giant festivals and stuff like that. So you were in like a high caliber of entertainment world, really.
Yeah.
But was there a point, how did that all kind of happen? Like when you got picked up by him, or started to like make some serious noise, was there like a moment that happened, or how did that kind of happen?
I think hats off to Sasha. I honestly wouldn't be anywhere where I was without him. He was like, he's crazy good manager. Like, yeah, he would fight for you. He would go to war for you, but he'd also have the right plans in set. Like a lot of the plan was like kind of, build a narrative, start off small and then get bigger and bigger, do bigger shows and put all the content out. But I think the moment where I was like, oh shit, this is like very cool was I played my first Splendor in the Grass.
Yeah.
The year before that, I played in like the Smirnoff tent, which is like
promoted DJ almost sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like this little kind of tent thing. And then the year after that, I played in, I forgot what the stage was called, but it was like one of the big tents. And I was on stage and I was like crying on stage. And then I got off stage and just like had not a meltdown, but like I just started crying. I was like, holy shit, this is insane. And then it kind of just went from there. And then like, I guess the year after that, you put out more music, and then, you do your own headline tour shows. They go well. The festivals are like, all right, we'll get you on. So then you did a listen out tour, that was probably like my most fun I've ever done.
Yeah.
And then I guess it kind of just, it's just stepping stones.
So who was on the listen out when you did it?
Skrillex,
Fuck.
Brockhampton.
I went that year.
ASAP Rocky.
Yeah, Fisher.
Fisher.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fisher played after me in all of my sets. That was hilarious. I had a huge crowd because everyone was waiting for Fisher.
There was Skepta too, because I actually, when that was on, I remember in Melbourne, I watched Skepta instead of Fisher, and there was like, I reckon 600 people watching Skepta, and then there were been 21,000 watching Fisher. That was like just as he blew up.
It was ridiculous because I don't know, I was kind of blessed with a good set time because it's just everyone the whole time was there waiting for him. So I just had a massive crowd the whole time. It was great. Thanks.
Was that
Fisher.
2018?
Might have a bad memory.
It must have been, I reckon, because it was just as he fucking went bang like that. Like he was booked on it, and there was buzz, and then he was like, by the time it came around, he was fucking humongous.
I probably would have got him at a good price then.
Yeah, probably. So, but when did you do the club circuit stuff beforehand? Like, did you?
Yeah. I was doing like the Australian club circuit.
Yeah.
Multiple times, and then I did my own ticketed one. I think I did like an Oxford Art Factory in Sydney. And then a Metro Theatre. It's just like, I guess, it's just like stepping stones. And Sasha like kind of laid that out.
Yeah. And
kind of set it up. So, each show and each moment should be bigger than the last, like build a narrative to get everyone behind it.
Yeah.
And I guess I was doing like I was doing stupid shit as well, like funny stuff on Instagram and all that kind of stuff. So I think that was kind of setting me aside a little bit. I was always not pranking, but I was doing dumb shit and uploading stupid shit. So it wasn't just all serious music.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, which you kind of almost have to do these days, eh? Yeah, definitely. You got to be a character and a musician.
Yeah.
So when you were playing in Sydney, like the actual clubs, like what kind of clubs were you playing there?
Fuck, I started off at World Bar.
Yeah, of course.
I feel like everyone from like Sydney that has kind of made it into a job or like gotten big, they always start off at World Bar, and then they go to Laundry. And I've played so many fun shows at World Bar and at Laundry, and then you do like an Ivy.
Yeah,
all those kind of clubs. At that time, the music I was playing was popping off in those clubs, so it was kind of lined up well. It's just a lot of good timing as well.
Because like did Sasha run Cake or World Bar, one of the two? Because he had Vamp. It was originally, I don't know if it's still called that. I remember the logo was like a cut off hand with a V.
I think when I was doing all the World Bar stuff, I don't think Sasha
was involved anymore.
Yeah. But he definitely was before. I'm pretty sure.
And what's a genre you would like say that you did for people who don't know who Enschway is or what the project is?
It's probably like, it would be called hybrid trap or future bass kind of thing. And then I started doing little pop stuff, and that was fun. I enjoyed that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And end up taking you overseas?
I went to New Zealand a few times. That was good. Had a show in Bali that was booked, but the club got done for tax fraud or some shit the week before I was meant to play. So that was kind of a bit.
It's very Indonesian. Yeah.
They got done for tax fraud or something, so I didn't get to play the show. Went US, went there for like kind of like to produce and meet people and stuff like that. And ended up doing a back-to-back with San Holo at EDC Las Vegas, which was pretty ridiculous.
That's wild.
There's like they have these big like these like double-decker buses, and they just have them in like the main areas, and they set up decks on the top of it. And I was with San Holo, and he was like, "I'll bring a USB. Like, I'm going to play on the top of the bus." And I was like, "All right, sweet." So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm in Vegas playing.
That's awesome. I actually remember that. Yeah. And so how long would you spend? How long were you in the States in the end?
Maybe like a month or two, just kind of going around, meeting
hanging
people,
out, playing Nintendo,
hanging out, producing with people.
Yeah. Any big names you're working with you can talk about?
No, it's more like local producers that I was friends with online. Because like, that kind of music we were making was not super widespread. So I guess the people that were making it were like all friends with each other, messaging each other. So we'd have group chats and stuff, and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm in the US. Let's meet up."
Yeah, that's no shit. That's mad.
Yeah, I was still shocked. I remember there was one time, me and my mate, we were going out to a club, and we went to the pre's at their house. And at that time, I don't think Americans do pre's like us.
Yeah,
because we rock up with like a case of beer each, and they're like, "Oh, what's this?" And we're like, "Oh, it's our beers." Going, "Well, you gonna drink all of them?" She's like, "No, we'll have a fair few though." And they're just like nursing a beer for a good hour and a half. They just got fucking smashed before we even get into the club. And they were just like, "Man, you guys are fucked."
I saw this thing they were talking about. A guy from America came to Australia, and he was like he didn't know how Aussies party, and he's saying he started at 6 p.m. and finished at 6 p.m. the night after. And he was like, everyone throughout the whole process was sort of acting like it was normal. And he's never seen that before, because like clubs over in America shut at like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like here, like, I don't know, back in the day, maybe not even when you were around, but like club used to not go out. If you went out before 1 a.m., you were like a loser back when I was younger.
I missed lockouts by like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Wow.
I turned 18 2 weeks after lockouts. So
So you saw the demise of King.
I literally got to watch it live as I turned 18 and grew up to.
Because how quickly did it fall over? How quickly did King's Cross fall over?
Over like a year or two, but like it's slowly, like clubs just slowly started shutting down. Like a lot of them actually started. I don't think there's any left.
There's none. No,
I don't
it's
think
like
there's
fully
any left
decimated there.
in the Cross.
It's weird walking through there now. Like it's literally like a ghost, like not a ghost town. There's no one there. It's all like kind of built up, whatever. But when you walk through there, I remember back in the day, it was just full of like fucking colourful characters. It was just pumping full of junkies and every single person. Like it was dangerous, but fun in a good way. Yeah.
The junkies are definitely still there.
Yeah.
Last time when I lived in Sydney, I used to ride my little e-scooter to go buy vapes from the tobacconist at King's Cross because there wasn't anyone open late at night. There's definitely still plenty of junkies.
Yeah. They've stuck true.
Yeah.
All right, so you've gone, you've done Listen Out, you've played Splendid on the Grass, you've done these massive stages, you're working with artists in America, you traveled overseas, and then you're kind of, what I would say, in a position where you were bubbling, like you weren't falling backwards, you were sort of, potentially in the rise. COVID comes, it kicks you in the ass like everybody in the industry.
Yeah.
And then what do you do? Like what happens when the COVID hits?
I guess it was kind of like when COVID hit, it's kind of like, I had a few shows booked and I'm bigger shows and I was like looking forward to them. And they were like, this COVID thing's probably going to be fine. We're just going to reschedule a show for 5 months from now, 4 months from now. Then it gets like 4 months and they're like, oh shit, this is probably going to last for a while. And then after that point, I was like, I feel like this is going to last for a while and I wasn't doing anything else. So I just kind of, just a bit of self-reflection. I was like, I don't really want to force myself to be producing stuff because it got to the point where I was just, I guess, not wanting to make the music I was making. And I didn't know what I wanted to make. And I didn't have the skill set to make like the music that I really wanted to make. Like, it's hard to explain. I knew what I wanted to make, but I didn't have the skill set because the skill set I made was for the music I was making.
Yeah, I get you, yeah.
Because I'm not like a natural musician. I didn't learn guitar or anything like that. So it's kind of like, I just throw shit at the wall and if it's stuck, it's stuck.
I understand,
kind of like how I produced.
And so what made you get into that style anyway? Because that genre it's kind of niche. Like I know were you one of the biggest Australian artists making that kind of music at the time?
Yeah.
And so you were doing decent rooms. Like you were doing like 1,000 people rooms.
Yeah.
Or even bigger festivals. But like what made you get into that style of music? Because it's a pretty weird style.
Would be I listened to an album called Even If You Don't Believe by Rusty.
Yep.
And that kind of sent me down that pathway. And then, listening to Porter Robinson, all that kind of music.
That really American thrashy sort of stuff.
Yeah, sent me down. I've got like tattoo of like the album art of Even If You Don't Believe, because that was like what pivotal moment for me. Listening to that, I was like, I want to learn how to make this.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of what set it off, yeah.
And then as you got older, you just sort of said, I don't want to make this anymore. And then you didn't know where to go to take the next step.
No. And then I still loved playing shows and I still, kind of get the urge every now and then to go play some shows, but I haven't opened Ableton or producing software in a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, wow.
And I feel like it'll come like when I guess the prank stuff chills out or, that chapter's over. I might open up Ableton and start producing some stuff again, but I don't see that anytime soon.
So like I guess for me, and this is what I've always found interesting, hence why I fucking wanted to come down and talk about it. But I'm like, so you're, as I said, like you're bubbling, you everything's going right for you realistically, except for COVID hitting. And then the transition, most people don't do that. Like the thing is people don't sit there and go, I don't really like what I'm making, so I'm going to stop. Most people fucking double down and then they just keep doing what they, you've worked with musicians, there's fucking heaps of them I know who fully hate what they do. Yeah, and it's a wild thing to see. And it's like, you got to be in that industry to see it. But people are like, I fucking hate the music I make. And they get stuck in this thing because they're like, it's like having a full-time job, they can't go backwards because it pays the bills.
It pays the bills. And I've been doing this since I dropped out of uni for it. I don't have any other skill set. I'm like, fuck, I've got to keep doing this. It's paying the bills and but.
So then that shift, right? So like obviously you went into pranking at some point, but like was the pranking the reason why you stopped, you think? Or was it like you just shifted and you're like, I got to find something else? Because they're pretty fucking, you've gone from realistically now, you guys are one of the bigger YouTube channels I'd say in Australia now. Am I overhyping that or what?
Prank channels, I think, we'd be up there.
Yeah.
YouTube channels, definitely not. There's huge YouTubers from Australia. A lot of gamers,
course.
A lot of beauty, a lot of kids channels as well are Australian. But I guess the stuff we're doing, not really. I don't think. There's Floppy, and that's about it. But
it's like it's such a fucking unique thing, right? It's like you've literally gone from like being a producer to the prankster, a YouTuber, like effectively. Yeah. And it's like, they're almost worlds apart. Like prior to even meeting, look, I know we'll probably go into it later, but when I met the cold ones and all that sort of shit, I never even heard of YouTubers. And the only person I knew who bridged that gap was you from the music world across. And then now I've met them. But it's like, so when you sort of stopped doing music, did you go, oh yeah, I want to be a YouTuber?
No, not really. It took a while. Like that, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I was living with my mate Fresh at the moment, Harley Fresh. He was like huge Fortnite YouTuber. Living with him and kind of like watching everything, learning a lot of shit from him as well, learning a lot of shit from his team and taking it all in. And then he moved to Melbourne and I was like going down to Melbourne every few weeks to just hang out with him and some other mates I had in Melbourne. And I had messaged Will and Seb, Misfit Mind Boys, like months prior when they had not many followers. I saw one of their clips and I was like, this is fucking hilarious, blah, blah, blah. And then naturally I sent it to Fresh's, a guy in Melbourne who was managing some other people. And I said, you got to check out these guys. They're fucking hilarious. You should manage them. He goes, all right, cool. Then he calls me one day. He's like, come down to Melbourne. I want you to manage these boys. And I was like, okay, sweet. So I went down, met the boys, picked up the boys from the airport. And I was joking around. I wore a suit and a top hat like I was a driver.
Yeah.
I haven't met Will and Seb before. And I pick him up and I'm just acting like a bit of an idiot. Well, Seb goes, wait, are you Enschway? And I was like, yeah. I was just like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like, so I started like helping them out with little things. And then they just, I jumped in one of the videos and they thought I was a good fit and people liked it in the comments and stuff like that. And it kind of just grew from there. And then I was like, just kept jumping in more videos and then became Choccy Dan from the Woolies video and then kind of set from there. Now I'm in it. Yeah.
Full-time fucking YouTuber.
Full-time YouTuber, yeah. It was very weird. Like it just kind of just landed there.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So like, so when you've decided like, hey, I'm going to stop producing, you legitimately were like looking for other opportunity, or you just like didn't know what you're going to do?
Floating.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Fuck,
like,
man, it's so weird how that happens. Hey, you just fall into shit. But that's what I mean. Like normally someone will like be a producer and they become a ghost producer. Yeah. And like, or someone will be a producer and then become a manager. Like, so that's what I always like, I find so interesting because like to go from being a producer to a YouTuber it's relatively fucking, it's like that. Yeah. Like
it's usually the other way around. YouTubers usually become musicians.
Yeah, true.
Like YouTubers will, millions of subs, make it, and then they'll go, oh, let's try something else. And they'll go, oh, I'll start making music.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time it is YouTuber into musician, but I guess I always had the being a clown in me.
Yeah.
I was always being a clown, dickhead. So
when you first started doing the prankster stuff, like how was that? Like I guess you were probably used to being around crowds and shit, because some of the shit you guys do is fucking insane. Like I was involved in it and I struggled. I was like, how the hell do you do this? But like, so you said you were a clown before, but like, how did you find that transition from being a DJ, which is a pretty fucking like serious thing, into transferring into what you're doing now, which is the complete opposite?
Yes. I don't know. I had like from performing in front of crowds, my social anxiety was like negative. Like I didn't have much social anxiety. So going up to some random on the street and pranking them, like, I don't know, didn't really faze me. Like I didn't get anxious for it. Some pranks you get anxious for. But most of them, it's just, this is funny. And the pranks we do as well, we don't want to make the person we're pranking feel like shit. We just want to make them go home when they're having dinner with their family and go, you would not believe what the fuck happened to me today. The weirdest bloke did this. They're like, we want that to be the prank. We don't want to like, a lot of pranks can be harmful on the person.
There's a punching down or whatever they call it. Yeah.
And sometimes we've caught ourselves out punching down. But we kind of, I guess, when you do it, you're like, okay, fuck this. We don't want to do that. So yeah, you always want to be punching up.
Yeah.
Which is something Nico Omilana taught us. We did a video with him and he gave us a lot of advice and wisdom on that because he's like probably the best, one of the best. No, he is the best prankster in the world.
Yeah, okay.
He came over to Australia and we somehow got him to get a video of ours, but yeah, it was good.
Yeah, crazy. So you transition from, like, I guess one before I go, like, I'm going to go off the music stuff into the prank stuff, but it's like, what are like some of the polarizing differences you saw between the industries? Because like, again, you're pretty high up in the YouTube industry now and you're high up in the music industry. Like you got a really good position to talk about it, but like, what's the differences?
I think there's two main differences. One's financial and one's like just output of content. So like with music, you put out a song or you put out an EP or something like that, and then you do a tour, and then maybe 5 months later, 3 months later, you put out another song, and the feedback you get, there's such a big gap between songs and releases that you don't get that positive reinforcement and feedback from your fans and stuff like that. Whereas with YouTube, we're putting out a video mostly every Sunday, and it just feels like you get to have that like creative outlet a lot more frequently.
Yeah, okay.
And it's always moving, it's always going. Like with music, a lot of the times I'm banging my head against the wall going, fuck, I don't know how to make this sound good, fuck, da da da. And you could be stuck on a song for months and stuck on things for months. Whereas with YouTube, we put out a video on Sunday, And then Monday morning, a clock starts in your head again.
You started, yeah.
Next Sunday's video comes out. Clock starts in your head, and it's kind of like once it's out, it's kind of, move on to the next one. I feel like it's more toxic in like, I guess, having to put out content all the time, but it's a lot better like creatively being able to put out content all the time and like test the waters, what people like, what people don't like, and getting that positive feedback from people.
Straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. So like, both of them are like they're both creative in a sense, which they are. But then one you felt like feeds you quicker and like you get more positive reinforcement.
Yeah,
that's a good point. I've never actually thought about that.
Yeah, it feeds you a lot quicker, and it's also like you can, if you are stuck on something, it's kind of like it's done. Move on to the next one.
Yeah,
that video didn't do as well as the last one. All right, let's move on to the next one. So I guess it's a lot more like dynamic and moving a lot quicker than music was.
Yeah, and the second one you said.
I guess financially, like especially at the point where I was in my music career, not like how much money you're making, but like revenue sources. Like with music, 99% of my money was coming in from shows.
Yeah,
you do some merch and stuff like that, but 99% of the music money was coming in from shows. With YouTube, you can have so many different revenue sources, but for us, still the same. Like 90% of our money comes from YouTube AdSense, but the opportunities for doing brand deals, collaborations, merch it's a lot more, there's just a lot more branches for revenue is what I've kind of seen, not from us, but like being friends with YouTubers and stuff, people branch out and make money from different methods a lot easier.
Yeah. And this is the thing that people won't know, but if you do blow up on YouTube, like you get real big, the money eclipses anything you can make as a musician almost. Yeah. Like unless you're fucking dead mouse or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yes. Yeah.
So that's probably worth explaining, but like obviously people don't know, like I do now, partly because you guys taught me, but like how people make money from YouTube. Like, can you explain exactly how the metrics sort of work on YouTube and how people make cash from it?
It's basically like, so you put your YouTube video out and then YouTube or Google will put ads on your video. And depending on your audience, like the gender, age, where they're from, demographics, you'll get a certain ad rate depending on like what content you're making as well. So like, people making financial videos have a really high ad rate. So it's called a CPM, RPM, and it's like $1 per 1,000 views. So people making financial content have really high CPMs because advertisers are willing to put more money on it. If you have an older audience in a wealthier country, you're going to have a higher CPM. And then, you just get paid per 1,000 views. That's pretty much how it works.
And it ranges from?
Well, I've seen people with, 50 cent RPMs to I've seen $70, $80, $90 RPMs.
On 1,000 views?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, some financial channels I've seen on Twitter, it's pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah, and so I actually didn't know that. I knew, now I'm going to have to check my stats after.
Ours is okay for a prank channel. Like you'd think they'd kind of punish us, but it's okay. It's good.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, so it's interesting because I'm like, even when I started, I was like, how the fuck do you make money off this? And I had no idea. Because like, and what people don't know is that like TikTok, Instagram, they're realistically, they're funnels to YouTube. So you just want to funnel everything back there. You guys especially cut up and clip all your stuff.
Yeah.
Get millions and millions of views, but it's all realistically to funnel back to YouTube.
Hopefully to funnel into YouTube, yeah. And build those platforms as well because still eyes on anything is good.
Yeah. And so, would you say that the other one is like the YouTube stuff slower? Like, is it harder to build? Like, is it
well, I joined the boys when they had, I think it was like around 35 to 40K YouTube followers. And like, from what I've seen and what people say is like the first, I guess, 10K followers on YouTube or subs on YouTube is like very, very hard. And then getting to 100K is really hard. But then after that, it kind of, because you already have that net, it can kind of slowly reach out. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I think both the music industry and YouTube, you have to be doing the right thing at the right time.
Yeah, I getcha.
I mean, YouTube maybe, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah, because you don't really control it, eh? Like it's like it decides if it's going to fucking throw it to a million people.
I'm not an expert in either, but I've got knowledge in both. So.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, cool. So going back to the prank stuff, you started doing it with the boys. You kind of get more and more involved in it. So what was your first video you did with them?
The first video I was in, like just featured in, was we sat in a van and we ordered Uber Eats, and we all had Uber Eats accounts, and we would just keep ordering Uber Eats until one of us got the order, like one of the other people got the order to deliver it. We'd accept it, go into the store, going to the Macca's or Guzman or whatever it was, dressed as the Uber Eats driver. And then when the lady handed over the food, you'd open it, go to the drink. Oh, it's not cold enough. Take a swig from the drink. Eat a bite of the burger. It's cold, and they would just blow up. Like, just like, you can't do that. That's not your food, but it was our food.
I've actually seen that video. I didn't know that's what you did though.
I didn't do it. Yeah, we did it so we weren't just eating random people's food. Like, we didn't want to just fuck with random people's food. So we just sat in a van, just like waiting until we got.
So you actually signed up to Uber accounts?
Yeah, and we waited for our own order.
That's hilarious.
But I wasn't actually doing a prank in that one. I was just like kind of in it, eating all the food because we had so much spare food.
So were you managing them before you did that?
No.
Oh, so you were just sort of mucking around. So
I was just mucking around, like helping out, giving them advice on YouTube stuff, like thumbnails and titles and all that kind of stuff. And then kind of just slowly.
And what point did you kind of make it official, I guess?
I wouldn't say there was like ever an official moment. I just kept doing more stuff and helping out with more stuff, and then just fell into it.
Yeah, no shit. And how long have you been doing it now for, like a year?
A year and a half, 2 years maybe.
Because when I saw you when you first moved to Melbourne, that was like a crown would have been 2 years ago, I reckon.
Oh yeah.
You were not doing YouTube at that point, right?
No.
Yeah. So you were just knocking around with all those YouTube guys.
Yeah.
And that was like Misfit Minds, obviously. There was fucking the Ruckus Boys. Is that what's that?
The Rucka Boys.
Rucka Boys, all those dudes.
That group of boys, yeah.
That was wild to me, dude. Like, I remember when I went and met those guys, which I know you just moved down to Melbourne, but all those people. But I was like, what the fuck? Because I went to the office that they had up where they were doing the merch sales and stuff. And that was the first time. Because like in my head prior to that, YouTube was for like kids videos. And then that shifted my whole thought process because I saw some of these guys who were flying around in like private jets and fucking, some of them were millionaires and they were showing me the stocks that they were making and then talking about different people from overseas and these connections and these videos they were making. And that really opened my mind that I was like, I didn't even know it was in this industry until I met those guys. And then now I YouTube. Yeah. So it's been like it's an interesting thing.
YouTube. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, you're right. That was basically what I was about to say.
I was like, YouTube, if you get to like the millions of subscribers, like,
it's game over.
Yeah. It is over.
But I never knew that. Like prior to meeting those guys, I had zero idea. Like in my head, it was like, if someone's like, oh, that guy's got 1 million subscribers on YouTube. I'm like, oh, awesome. Yeah. But like I thought it was like having fucking 100,000 followers on Instagram. Yeah. Like,
complete 100,000 followers on YouTube is like ridiculously different to 100,000 on Instagram.
Yeah. Because they're like more diehard fans, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. I remember watching one of the guys, I don't know who was involved with it, was like a Fortnite player.
Yeah.
And they'd done $1 million merch drop in 24 hours. And I was like, what the fuck? And then they sort of started explaining to me. And then from that moment on, I was like, I need to learn everything about YouTube. So with the prank stuff, do you have like a favorite prank that you've done?
Oh yeah, it's the Beaufort Macca's one.
Oh,
it's definitely. I think all of our favorites.
Yep.
All the sweatshop, but it'd be the Macca's one where we went to.
Why is that? Like I know I've seen it. If anyone hasn't seen, go check it out. It's Mick Beaufort, where the boys made a fake McDonald's in a town. Like go through like exactly what you did.
Well, we had this idea where there's Sacha Baron Cohen did this skit in what was this show's called, like We Are America or something, where he went to like a redneck part of America and he got like this case study of rednecks in this room and he said he was going to build the world's biggest mosque in this town and all the rednecks were losing their shit. They were going, nah, fuck that. We don't want that in here. Blah, blah, blah. So we was like, oh, fuck. If we could do this, but like actually go to a town, draw up plans, like door knock and do it, but like longer form. So we were like, all right, we got to find this place. So we're just looking on Google Maps, trying to find a place with a population, like around 1,000, 2,000 people. And we just found this place, Beaufort, and we saw they had this like rotunda, which is like this big, it's like used to perform music on it back in the day. And we're like, that would be a perfect site to build a 20-story McDonald's hotel. So we just started planning it out, drawing. It took like ages to plan. Like we made a website, we had pamphlets, we had pens, mugs, full high vis, decals on the side of the car. We had like 12-page development proposals, like all like ridiculous. I used to do construction management at uni, so I kind of had a bit of an idea of what like a development proposal looks like and all that kind of stuff. So I've gone and it looks so legitimate, it's not funny. And we just rock up to this town and we didn't know if it was going to work or not. We're just like, we have no clue. So we went and door knocked for a day and a half and we're just knocking on people's doors going, what do you think about this, mate? And like most of the people just going, fucking, I don't want fucking that here, mate. Fuck off. Like, and then we had a town hall meeting the next day and we had a bunch of people from the town come to the town hall meeting, still thinking it's completely legitimate. The council members were there, like police were there, everyone was there. And they thought
even the cops thought it was legit.
Yeah, I was like driving, like, it was ridiculous. Like the council member was there. The head of the Beaufort Shire Council knocked on our window and he's like, "Oh, what are you boys doing?" Like Seb somehow convinced him that we're like legitimate. Council tried to shut it down. They're going, "What are you doing? Where do you get this job?" And we're going, "Oh, I got it from WeChat." He's like, "You got this job from WeChat?" And we're like, "Yeah, WeChat." So they thought it was like this legitimate Chinese company that's just trying to build a huge McDonald's in this little country town. And, you know, half of the town, like not half, but like maybe 5 or 6 of these old fellas were all for it. Like they wanted the backers. Like, yeah, I think it'd be great for the town. But then the other half of the people were just going, "Fuck off, get out of here, mate." So it's this big divide at this town hall meeting there with microphones, big banners and stuff, like both at McDonald's. And like people are throwing cheeseburgers at Seb. People throwing cheeseburgers at me. I'm sitting there mucking on a cheeseburger while Will's on the phone. And Will goes to me, "Chew into the microphone while you're eating." It's like, so start pissing myself. And they believed it. Like they were disgusted. There was this old lady going, "I just can't believe it's disgusting that you're there eating a cheeseburger, unhealthy food, and trying to bring it into this town." And it just went perfectly. Like we didn't expect it to go as well as it did. And it just went really well. And we spent a lot of time editing it. And yeah, I love it.
Your favorite one so far?
Yeah. 100%.
How many videos do you reckon you've done now, you personally?
I don't know. I'll check. Oh, no, I won't check. Probably like 60?
Yeah,
I don't know.
And so this is the part that I don't know. Like, so I did the one with you guys where like I kind of hit you up. We started like going back and forward on ideas of doing something. So prank, for anyone that didn't see, go check it out on the Misfit Minds channel. I believe it's called you can tell me exactly what it's called.
We hired a DJ for a funeral.
Yeah, so we pranked the guys from Marmalade. And what we did was I basically got all these extras from dodgy guys that I know, and we put them in top of a club in Billboard, and we hired Marmalade to come down and DJ. And what they didn't know was they were DJing a wake for a fake bikie funeral, which is kind of fucked now, even thinking about it backwards. But me and Nick we went back and forward and we kind of come up with this concept and we put it together. But where I was surprised was how much went into it. Yeah. So and that's I feel like I wanted to go into, but it's like when we did it, I was like, yeah, cool, and it just happened quick. Like it was. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I actually told you already, but like I felt ill. Like 'cause when we were doing the whole thing, like so many things had to go right.
Yeah.
That I felt physically ill, and I started to worry. I didn't know why I was stressed, and then as soon as we finished that prank, it kind of lifted, and then I had like a high. But I was like, it was fucked. So like now, kind of like watching back what you guys do week on week on week on week, it blows my mind because I did one, and I fucking felt like I just lost $1 million, and you guys are doing this week to week. So go through like how extensive these plans get into, and like how much time and effort you put into them.
I guess with pranking and doing ones like this, like you really gotta make sure you don't have any like leaks in the plan, in the story. Like I remember me and Danny were back and forth like 3 days straight just on the phone being like, "Nah, don't say this, don't say that, don't say this, don't say that."
Even Instagram messages was like, "Should I say this? No. Should I do this?" It was like, it was so intricate. Like everything about the prank was fucking well thought through and had to be discussed.
Yeah, it's just you got to make it feel natural for the person you're pranking. So when they get to this environment, it's not weird for them. Like just go, "Hey man, you want to come DJ at this event?" Like you got to kind of build into it. But yeah, there's a lot of those intricate pranks like that one, the Beaufort one where we dropped a cake in a wedding cake shop. Like it's just a lot of, I guess, like all of the timing as well, like the planning of the times. You had to coordinate fucking shitload of big, scary looking blokes, which thank you for that.
Yeah, that's all right. I've got plenty of them in my phone book, unfortunately.
Hey, look, we'll use them again. They loved it. So
they did. They
let's
frothed
hop in another one, boys. We'll think of a way to use them again. They're good. They're good value.
Yeah, but like even that was the thing. So like we went. Another thing was wild during that prank was that how you planned it. Like we gone through this whole thing, and it was like some of the shit you guys were coming up with. Even like the fucking we had like a coffin with the DJ decks on it. And I was like, this is too far. Yeah, like, but you guys just kept putting it up. And then at one point, I remember just before it happened, you were like, "Oh, you and the guys from Marmalade, you have to get them to move the coffin while it's full of people." And I was like, no way. And you had weights in the coffin. And I was like, there's no way I'm moving the coffin with these guys.
Yeah, that's probably something like, you know, like an interesting one is we think so much into some of the pranks that like we did have the coffin there and just on off chance we wanted them to move it, we went and got 80 kilos of weights and put weights in the coffin. So if they moved it, it felt like a real body. So yeah, that's kind of stuff that and each time you do something, we do miss something or fuck something up. And then you just like add it to the list every time you do it. You go, "Oh, let's think of that." Even the way you set up the cameras.
That's the thing I saw you guys doing. Like you guys, that would took like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And you guys were like putting it there, working it out. It was so like, it was interesting to watch because you kept saying to me, it's like, we don't have room for mistake. So in these prank videos, what people don't understand is that it's taking you a week to plan them. But second to that, you can't get it wrong because you've only got, like that went for 15 minutes. 10 minutes. Yeah.
So yeah, you got to make sure everything's kind of, you know, one of the cameras is fucked or two of them is fucked, like you don't have a video.
And so how long, when you do these things, like how many hours do you reckon you put into per video?
Oh, a lot.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty much all we do.
Yeah, it's full. So you're literally waking up like a full-time job.
Yeah. We pretty much wake up, either film, plan, edit, brainstorm. And then, it's pretty much like, it's more than a full-time job. Like,
so it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week sort of vibes.
Yeah, you're always thinking about it as well.
Yeah.
But I guess I love doing it. It's fun. The boys love doing it.
Yeah.
It's good.
So surely there's been ones that have failed. Like, have you had pranks that have failed?
Yeah, we haven't actually had like a massive failure. Like the big ones that we do where we do plan and do all the big planning for it, haven't really had a big failure on any of those. But, you know, a lot of the videos we do as well is like, you know, chuck a camera in a bag, film in Kmart, just fucking around. There's 50 Kmarts in Melbourne. We kind of just keep going until we get the clips.
Yeah, okay, getcha.
So none of the big planned ones have really fucked up, no.
Yeah.
There was one where a guy put us under citizens arrest at our own house, but that was...
What? That's hilarious.
I don't even think you could... Yeah, he snapped our SD cards. Like,
can you talk about it?
Oh, it's a long story that... Probably not.
So that's other parts. Like, is there parts like where you feel unsafe, or is that like only like an outlier situation? Because you're kind of putting yourself in like high risk situations. Like, if anyone's seen your pranks, some of them are pretty fucking wild. You're pranking security guards. You're pranking like bikie lookalike guys. You're pranking, you know, like all these different people.
Yeah, we pranked the cops last week.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw the one with the they had like a charity bin with the speaker in it. But it's like, so have you been in situations where people haven't received it well, or is it most of the time they receive it well?
Yeah, we had a bloke like chase us out of a store with a baseball bat or cricket bat and like swing at us, which was pretty funny. But he probably wouldn't have caught us if he chased us. I'm not slow, I'm not fast, but I was definitely gonna be faster than him. But times where we're scared. I mean, where we do the pranks where, you know, we did a prank ages ago where we had like 200 pocket pussies in a like delivery guys delivering packages, and you'd knock on someone's door, and when you'd pick up the box to give it to them, 200 pocket pussies would fall out, and they'd go, "What the fuck is that?" But the time walking up from the car to the front door, you're knocking on the door, you don't know who's behind that door. Like, you have this big buff bodybuilder come out and you drop a pocket pussy, you just don't know how it's gonna go. So that's, I think, like, anxiety and being scared, that's like where I think I'm most scared, is when you're just knocking on someone's door, you're about to prank them, you don't know what they are. Don't know who's so that's but other than that, no, not really. Do
you get better at it? Like, cause like that when watching it live, and I remember we were doing it and I was like, this is too far. Like, I was like wanting to bitch it, and you guys were like, no, let it cook. And I was like, how? Like, anxiety was high. But like, when you're going through these processes and you're dealing with this stuff, like, do you find that you get better? Like, is it something like a muscle, like you can train?
I feel like you kind of become a bit desensitized to stuff, like desensitized to the nerves of it. We still all get nervous every time we do it, but it's like, I guess it's like the same as walking up on stage when you're about to play a show. It's like, no matter how many times you've done it, you're still going to be nervous, whether it's a club for 100 people or a festival, you're still nervous because you're still putting on a performance.
And do you get a high afterwards?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When there's no better feeling than getting a good clip. Like when, you know the cameras are good, you know you've done a good job, you know the reaction was hilarious. There's no better feeling. Yeah. It's like you walk up like, boys, we got it. It's fun. Fuck.
Those, I remember, like, one of my favorite ones is the one where they're doing the Wi-Fi thing, where they're asking for the Wi-Fi passwords. And the guys getting so into it. Oh, but I'm like, how the fuck do you, like, even when I spoke to Marmalade when they came up, like, I did okay, but I was nervous talking to them. I was like, how the fuck do you boys like win it on the side? Like,
I think what we do is we have characters that like we kind of get into. So it's kind of like we're not being us, we're just playing characters. Like Will has his Ross Buckley character, which is like this flamboyant gay bloke. And he plays that character perfectly, but it's not him. Like he'll get into character and play it perfectly. And I'll play like a, pretty dumbass, like looking fat bogan mullet guy. Yeah. Like, ooh, like every time I do a prank in like Woolies or something, the people in Woolies thought I was like a bit disabled.
Yeah.
So the guy actually gave me chocolates because he's like, all right, mate, I'll get you some chocolates. All right. Like, come with me. He gave me chocolates and kind of like slowly hushed me out the store because he thought I was just like a bit loose in the heads.
Yeah.
yeah, I think we just get into character and it kind of
Makes it easier.
makes it easier. Yeah,
Because
for
kind of
sure.
acting, and that's the other part, is like these days, like which I love about like the new world, I would say. Back in the day, you wouldn't have been able to do this on TV. Yeah, like there's no way that someone like a broadcast network would have let you Misfit Minds make TV shows.
Well, they let chasers do some pretty rogue shit.
True, that's a good point. Yeah, back in the day. But then now it's like you guys can just like, and that's the thing. It's not just a GoPro. You've got like fucking 10 GoPros and different cameras and stuff. Like, what's your setup that you use? How much equipment do you actually have? Like I'm guessing it's fuckloads.
We had the one main camera, which was like a Sony A7S III, and then a few different lenses for like different lengths. And then we'd always rent stuff from like rental companies. And then each, like we get a bit of money and we just go, let's buy a new camera.
Yeah,
So
okay.
Our money's always just going in and out because we just want to make the pranks bigger. We want to make our setup better. We want to make our cameras better, all of that kind of stuff. So every bit of money we make, we just put back into the videos or the channel or new cameras. So I think we have a good like, I think we could film most things now with what we have without having to like go out and get other things. So yeah, I think we have like 2 main cameras, bunch of GoPros, 360 cameras, mics. Yeah,
there's you 3 boys all do it full time.
yeah.
Yeah, and would you say it's like do it like a startup? Like it's basically like you just yeah.
Every bit of money we make gets pumped back in.
So just to live and make more videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane.
You know, sometimes we have a good month, we might treat ourselves with a few hash browns at breakfast.
Couple maxi bots.
Yeah, a couple of maximums, a few hash browns.
Yeah.
Maybe a little multi on the AFL or the NRL.
Yeah,
But
yep.
Other than that, it's just pretty much all
Yeah.
fucking videos and
Because you basically like like that's why I'm like you live together, you guys.
yeah, we all live together. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like you basically like that's the thing that people wouldn't know, but it's like you guys live together, work together. It's like you talk about being 24 hours, but it is like you're literally doing it 24 hours a day.
Oh, sometimes we want to kill each other.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the time. Yeah.
So do you have a favorite crazy moment of the pranking thing that you did that like sort of sticks in your mind that you can't, it's one of your best moment of being a part of Misfit Minds?
Honestly, I think the best moment was literally when we left Beaufort and we had done the town hall meeting. Like we packed that shit up so quickly and we just got out of the town and we were all just going, there's no way that just fucking happened. Like there's no way we actually just got all those people and pranked them. And I think I just had a feeling like we're just like, holy shit, we got the clip. Like I was talking about before how when you get the clip, you get that feeling.
Yeah.
It was like that, but like times 10 because we're like, we just got the clip. Like that's
And then we just want to rush home and start editing it basically.
yeah. That took a while because that was a lot of
I
fun.
remember you showing it me like a couple months beforehand. So how long was it from like making it to actually getting it out?
I'd say like maybe a month and a half.
Yeah, it's not bad. 6 weeks is pretty good.
Yeah, 6 weeks. But most every week we film Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, edit Friday, Saturday, Sunday, put out the video Sunday.
Yeah.
Like we're usually editing it Sunday at 1 o'clock and then the video comes out hopefully at 5, 6, 7.
And you said last time I spoke to you, saying that you're getting a lot of American audience now.
Yeah, it's growing. It's growing. It's like,
And is that what you want? Like when you're doing YouTube, is it you want to get to?
I guess you want both. You still want like your core roots Australian audience. And that's still growing, but you want like the real numbers is when you blow up in the US. Like that's when channel starts going crazy is when you get big in the US.
So I guess I have to ask this question because a lot of people have asked me this too. But like when you guys are pranking people, and they know about it, are most people good sports about it, or like how do they sort of act?
Yeah, most of the people that we've pranked that like, we're friends with, like the Marmalade Boys, Laserbeam, all those guys that we have pranked and they know about afterwards, they're always good sports about it. Like everyone that we do prank and we like bring out the cameras, go, they're usually like, most people are in shock for like a good 10, 15, 20 minutes because they just don't know what's happened. Like they've been in this situation for the last 15, 20 minutes where they're just like, what the fuck is going on? And then all of a sudden we come out and go, you've been pranked. And then they're just like, people, I think what they do is they like recount what's happened in their head and they're like, what the fuck? Yeah, I just got pranked. So they're usually just in shock and just confused for like 20 minutes. And then they're like, nah, that's funny.
Because even the Marmalade guys, when we did that to them, I started watching them. They were trying to piece together the whole day and like all the signs that they had and things they thought were weird. But it was like, you definitely see them sort of thinking in the back of their head, like where they went wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just kind of, what? It's fine. Yeah. Usually after they've gotten over the fact that they're like, what the fuck just happened? They're usually very, very like receptive to it. And we haven't had a bad one.
Yeah, cool. That's good. So music, pranking, what do you prefer, you reckon?
Pranking for sure.
Yeah, really? Fuck, okay.
I think just because you get to have the weekly output.
Yeah.
Like the creative output and it's just moving so fast. Everything's going so quickly. I think suits me a lot more. I think with music, I got pretty complacent and lazy because like you're your own boss kind of thing.
Yeah, I understand.
You know, you have to sit down and you have to make the music. You have to like put yourself behind the computer. And when I wasn't enjoying it and I slowly stopped enjoying it, you know, I'd just be like, fuck it, I'll just play COD.
Yeah,
Play
no one
Fortnite.
cared. Yeah, exactly.
It's like, there's no one telling me like, get back to work. It's like, I don't want to do that. I'm just sitting and play COD. But that slowly happened. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Well, it's funny is even like as a music manager, you don't, like, because they're artists, you kind of respect it. So you're never sitting there going like, you need to make more music because it's sort of like goes against the creative process. Yeah. Like,
Sasha definitely repeated to me. He's like, mate, what are you doing? I was like, fair enough. Like, fair enough. That's why he was a good manager as well, because he wouldn't be afraid to say like, come on, get a fucking song done.
Yeah, but that's the thing when you are a music manager, bro. Like it's a hard one because I watch these guys who are super talented, much the same as yourself. And then I'm like, if I had that talent, I would just pump out a song every single fucking week. Yeah, like exactly like what you do for YouTube. But would it work? Who knows? Like, no, because no one does it. That's space.
Yeah, it's harder. It's easier said than done.
Yeah, 100% true. Cool. So I think we're gonna wrap it up there, bro. What's the future for Nick, Enschway, Choccy Dan look like? You reckon?
Just keep making funny videos.
Just doubling down.
See where it takes us.
Yeah, fuck, I can't wait, man.
The pathway has been laid, and we just got to keep following it.
I feel like you have to keep outdoing yourself, which is going to get harder and harder because you guys keep doing crazier and crazy shit.
I think that is a dangerous thing. I think that actually is a dangerous thing.
It's fucked now though because I'm like in the ecosystem. Every time like I go somewhere, I'm always on guard. Even here today when I invited you down, I was like, can I get fucked over?
You're not safe. Like you're definitely on our hit list. We have like a whiteboard with a hit list of people we want to get.
I remember when we had that thing and I said, I'm unprankable.
I've got the video on my phone.
Yeah, I do because you filmed it.
Danny Grant is unprankable. Blah, blah. I was like, yeah.
I still kind of think I am, but maybe I'm fucking wrong. But every time now, even when I spoke to the talking to Checkers the other day, and I was like, oh, the boys said they want to catch up for lunch. I'm like, I'm not that dumb. Yeah, so like now I live in this world of like constant fear because I fucked around your ecosystem.
Yeah, that's what also happens is when we did prank some people, they say just like the little minor inconveniences in their life, they think is a prank now.
Yeah.
Something a little bit weird happens, they're like, fuck, they're pranking me again.
Even as I was driving here, I was legitimately like, I'm like, I just don't know how they get me. But fingers crossed that it never happens. I don't get to live my life without having to worry about that.
Well, I thought I was getting pranked today.
Did you?
Yeah.
Fuck, I should have pranked you.
Genuinely thought I was getting pranked because we had to drop a car, we were borrowing someone's car for like a few months and had to drop it back at Albury. And the boys like, oh, we'll go drop the car off when you go to the potty with daddy. I was like, okay, yes, sweet. And I was like, that's just very convenient that you guys will go and drop off the car while I'm doing the potty. No, I think of it probably just good time management. But I was in the back of my head, I'm just going, fuck, what are the boys going to do? Like, you're definitely an in that they could get with me. So,
do you live in like constant fear now?
No.
You don't give a fuck?
If it happens, it happens.
I worry that like I'll be in this really hairy situation, like, you know, that one I told about in New Zealand where I got the bikie gang attacked there, and I'll be like a dickhead because I think I'm being filmed, and then I end up getting murdered and dumped in a river somewhere. I like bridge up to some giant gangster thinking I'm being pranked by Misfit Minds.
Nah, we'll get you when you least expect it.
Yeah, fuck. All right, we'll see. I still think I'm unprankable, but anyway.
It's now on fucking 6K. So as you're on my phone now, we've got it on the cameras.
So anyway, lastly, I've got to thank my sponsors, which is my own brand. Would you believe it or not? You can get this at First Choice, Liquorland, and all good independents around Australia, and every single good bar. Nick, that's for you, my friend.
Oh,
if you haven't tried it, you can now try it. Without them, this podcast wouldn't exist, and I wouldn't have a house. So thank you so much for coming down today, bro, to talk about how you went from fucking being a producer to a prankster. I really appreciate it, and hopefully I don't see you soon.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, bro.
You'll see me soon. Nah, you know what? Revenge is a dish best served cold.